they do every Thanksgiving. They watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, and they talk about it. And they've done it for 9 years now. I guess next year is going to be number 10, and that's the only thing that I'm still listening to.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Here we go. Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that will not stop doing yoga 24/7 until all the hostages are released. Bring them home, each and every last Israeli hostage. Not any other kind of hostage. Slava Israelia. It is 12:21 p.m. KST, November 25th. Josh's voice here, and Mr. Cohort above me in the Zoom box, Tim, across the Pacific. How does it go?
It's going well. I'm excited to be back here for another exciting episode of Reheat Death of the Universe, the only podcast where we review the different ways of reheating and enjoying Thanksgiving leftovers the day after. How are you doing tonight, Josh?
Good. I'm so pleasantly surprised to find the thematic shift to the podcast.
Yeah, you excited for this one? Now, how do you do the turkey when you reheat the turkey? I've got my ways, but what do you like?
Well,
you gotta put the glass of water in the microwave. Everyone knows that one. Anyways.
Is this one of those questions you don't really want me to answer?
You can do whatever you like. Feel free.
Well, yeah, you brought up Thanksgiving in Korea last time, and I started to answer. You're like, I don't want you to answer these questions. I mean, I really haven't celebrated properly Thanksgiving for like 12 years because I've just never been in the U.S. when it happens. I guess there's some like expats somewhere that like, because like turkey is basically like not a consumed animal here. But I guess some expats will like, I don't know, order it expensively from somewhere and try to recreate their traditions. But to give a deadly serious answer about how leftover turkey, I mean, I was always a big fan of the even just eating it cold, the cold sandwich.
Fair. Okay, I'll give you that. I just do it in a pan. I think that's the best way.
That's a good way.
Put a little
Bypass
oil.
the microwave.
Yeah, throw it in the pan. Put a lid on it. If you're gonna go, what you do is low heat. Throw some oil in there. Get it hot. Dump it around for a little bit, and then put a cover over it. It holds in the moisture, so it doesn't, And that's the way to do it. To me, that's the best way. But like I said, people have their own things, got their own styles. Maybe do a turkey jerky.
I was going to say fancy ass motherfuckers can use the air fryer, but I wonder if that dehydrates
That'll dry
it
it
a
out.
little
That'll
bit.
dry it out. But if you want to do a turkey jerky situation, you could definitely do that in the air fryer. So, my new toaster oven, it's a convection oven. It's got the air fryer settings and all that. Has a dehydrator setting on it, which is great because I do have a food dehydrator that I don't really ever use. So it's nice to now have two things that could do something that I want to do, but I just never do. Anyways,
that leads us perfectly into what has to be our first story today.
Is this
talking about
the correction, or is it something else?
I guess it's a correction. It's more of a reveal.
Fair.
So last week we told you about the great humanitarian tragedy of Snoop Dogg saying that he spent a lot of time reflecting and talking with his family and decided to give up smoke. Just to quickly recap, Tim, you hypothesized that he was probably just going to release a brand of like non-smokable cannabis product, which is, I think, a very fine guess. Actually, a way better guess than what had ended up happening in reality, which is that he's endorsed a smokeless fire pit. I'm trying to find the actual wording here.
Yeah, that's it. It's
stove. It's called a solo stove. Stove.
I don't know if you're familiar with these things. They're all over the internet. They're just like, it's like a hybrid of a fire pit and a stove because it's got this ring around the outside that people use to cook things, and it's also you can put like a basket kind of grill over the top, but it's also like a fire pit. It's realistically at its core, it's like mimicking basically the communal fire of the tribes people of pre-civilized human beings, and it just really shows
it's
that
like futuristic stainless steel or whatever is what it looks like from here. This small picture,
but
I'm seeing a.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm just seeing a picture of him like sort of warming his hands by the fire, and below it, the caption reads, "Snoop Dogg, the official smokesman of Solo Stove."
Yeah, but it's smoke free, so why is he the smokesman? Anyways, but yeah, it's just
right.
It's just showing. It's really just people trying to go back. They're just trying to return to our roots of being communal people who sit around the fire. So you turn like the cooking fire, the utilitarian nature of having like it's the entertainment and it's the heat source and it's the the way that you cook. It's the way you produce your food as well. It's all in one. And I guess it works. I don't know. People like that, right? Did you used to do that? I used to do that when I was young and stupid, and I hung out with some of the dumbest people in the world. You just like set a big fire and hang out around it while drinking beers. That would be like your night.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
it's great. It's a great tradition. It connects
good.
us to our ancestors who also sat around doing one hitters and drinking cheap beer.
Natty Bo.
Yeah.
Drinking Natty Bo and hitting the one hitter. Maybe if you're really getting at it, you do a couple of Tootskis.
Milwaukee's Beast.
Yeah, but
trying to think of more slang beer, like cheap beer terms that I can remember.
I think the trick is just not caring about hanging out
Schlitz.
with like some of the stupidest people that have ever existed. Like that's the hard part for me. Like I interact with people and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, why is the average person so fucking dumb? But it's just like everyone is just like, it's fine. We're all allowed to just be stupid. Who cares?
I had some good friends who I considered non-dumb that I've sat around a fire with, but I hear what you're saying as well. I've been to parties.
Yeah, I've been in life.
It's the only time you're really going to catch me sitting around with people that I kind of hate otherwise. But last week it did lead us on a bit of a derailment, as is kind of happening right now. We'll try to cut it off quickly here, but about the nature of Snoop Dogg's celebrity in general. And basically, to summarize, we were like, he's just a walking brand and has been since like 1996, probably. And if you read some of this like copy that he's like saying it like he's being interviewed, but he's just clearly reading the copy. It's kind of funny, and like, you know, it confirms exactly the shit we were saying about him being a billboard, a human billboard, which I don't really even begrudge him for. It's not sad. It's just whatever. It's just the nature.
It just is what it is. Yeah.
Of the Milwaukee's beast. But moving on from that, we've got pictures to choose from here today. In a bizarre experiment with the podcast shorthand notes here. It's a lot of screenshots. Good chunk of them coming from shout out TrueAnon subreddit. I spent a lot of time there since we last talked. A lot of posting this week. I'm not really much of a poster, but I kind of went a little overboard on the old TrueAnon subreddit because I like it there. Good people, good folks. So, all right. I guess we can start right here with there's a ceasefire ? I've already seen something like right before we started that seems to be showing that there's a bunch of blaming on coming from both sides about the ceasefire already being broken like within 15 minutes, which is unsurprising, but not great all the same, I guess. I don't know how true that is. I didn't really have time to do all my gumshoeing, journalism doing, and look into it. But in any case, while I was preparing this episode, there was some idea of a 4, maybe 5 day, it kept kind of changing, ceasefire, mostly to allow for a hostage exchange. Israel was going to release 150 hostages / prisoners, administrative detainees, in exchange for 50 Israeli hostages through Hamas. Hamas also threw in an extra 4 on humanitarian grounds, that they were like people that needed, like medical treatment or things they couldn't offer them. Something I have a hard time envisioning Israel doing. Just like, here's some, here's some extra hostages.
We got plenty of them. We got them coming out of our ears, folks.
Right, exactly.
We got plenty of hostages for you. You get a hostage, you get a hostage, and you get a hostage. Exactly.
When I first read the numbers, I was like, I immediately thought of like all the fucking just the evil chuds, like Dr. Eli, Eli David, or all these people, these figures who just have the most vile commentary, and how I could just imagine them being like, oh, they get 150 and we only get 50. Well, let's just take a glance at like the numbers. So let's say what I understand is that Hamas had 200 hostages like in total, roughly, and then like the PIJ had like the other 40. There were like 240 total. Meanwhile, there's like official numbers say there's 8,300 people being detained in Israel. Of course, apologists might shoot back, well, maybe some of those are actual criminals who belong in jail. Sure, maybe a few of them are, but it's well known that a lot of them are quote-unquote administrative detainees, which means they've not been charged with anything and they're indefinitely imprisoned. But yeah, if you wanted to actually work out the math.
100% of people that are being held in jail are prisoners, so it is.
Well,
and yes, that you can't trust prisoners because of everything that we've ever seen in the media. Prisoners are bad. So argue with that, Mr. Faxman.
I can't.
That's a new nickname.
I'm dead.
That's a new nickname, Mr. Faxman.
Oh boy, anyways. Mr. Faxman. Well, here's some facts. If they did want to be proportionate, and we know that Israel is very interested in proportionate responses to things.
Yeah, Israel's major stance on proportion is, why so much?
Well, depending on what we're talking about, yeah. If we're talking about retaliatory carpet bombing, kind of maybe goes the other way. But I did some math stuff, and yeah, it would mean that over 2,000 Gazan hostages would be returned to Gaza for the 50 Israelis. But of course, that will not happen. So there's that, this hostage exchange / ceasefire in scare quotes. Maybe more on that next time. I don't know. But there's this one little bit I'd been wanting to get to at least for like a week or two since I saw it, when the Israeli government released this this like PR video or whatever that was about like bringing all the hostages home. And it's just this like giant choreographed yoga session. It's just something really surreal and gross and weird about it, because like they have pictures of the hostages on their yoga mats, which they're like flopping their bodies down upon, and then they're also like putting the pictures of the hostages on their bodies while they're like stretching, and there's something like mildly sexualizing about it on top of everything else. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of this, but a lot of Israeli military propaganda takes, you know, conventionally attractive gals and puts like machine guns on them and shit to try to make the military look cool. So yeah, they're not beyond using a little TNA action for any cause, is what I'm saying. Dr. Eli David, he keeps posting these obviously like manipulative things where he's basically bitching about the hostage exchange. He's saying, here's what Israel gets, and it's like Amelia Aloni, 5-year-old cute little girl, her crime being Jewish. Put next to that, evil, darker tones literally surrounding the picture. Hamas gets back, someone whose name I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Sorry, it will just be worse if I try. But 26 years old, a lady, crime, stabbed 2 Israeli civilians when she was 18 years old. Okay, number one,
this story sucks. I do not like that. I do not like hearing about this. This is bad. This is a bad story, and I don't like hearing it. Continue.
You're like handpicking, obviously, who you're going to compare, right? So right off the bat, it's unfair and stupid to try to be like, all of our hostages are these beautiful 5-year-old angels, and all of the ones that we keep in our dungeons are, you know, evil stabbers and whatnot. Then like you take a quick look at, you know, comments, and there's people debunking this immediately. And like, not only did this woman not stab people, especially just, you know, without any context or unprovoked, but she just didn't at all. She was instead harassed and ultimately shot 4 times. She survived, but you know, she was attacked. So it's just that classic like projection shit that keeps happening within the whole conflict. It's like, oh, whatever we do, we're going to say our enemy does, you know, type of shit. And it's just never ending. And that's but a drop in the bucket. And I'm not basing that off of like what just some random person on Twitter said, like, you know, their sources to like back up this story. It's like very clear cut case of what happened to her. And then she was still ultimately thrown in jail because, I mean, I don't want to get into the whole thing, but like there were like numerous eyewitnesses, Israelis, who were saying, no, like she was being harassed and she was unarmed and she was ultimately shot. See, you can see those bullets in her body there. Like, the police literally told the eyewitnesses to shut up, and then they just like arrested this woman. So it's like, if you are gonna make this ridiculous propaganda, again, like just the propaganda being so poorly thought out, at least choose someone that actually committed a crime to like put next to like your little angel or whatever. Just fucking pure moron, this guy. Do you know this guy? I only heard of him because Twitter now shows me things that it tells me I want to see, unless I click on things that I want to see from people I follow. And this Dr. Eli David comes up consistently at the top of my feed.
It took me months to get Twitter to stop doing the thing where it like always switches back to the For You page instead of the
Yeah, for you. That's what it's called.
Yeah, instead of the chronological. But now, like, for the most part, it always stays on the For You for me. So I do not get fed weird shit like this because I just stay on the chronological thing. But yeah, I've actually never seen this asshole before. Dr. Eli David, he looks like a real piece of shit.
He's bad.
But I do like, what is this? This is Hamas receive Sarouk Dawati, 26-year-old crime, stabbed two Israeli citizens when she was 18 years old. And I will say that she is certified smoke show of the week. She's looking pretty good. So I don't really care about whatever else he's talking about. And I think it's pretty cool that you stab people when you're 18. I think that's pretty beast of her. Because she is hot. And that's all that really matters to me. Anyways.
This is your allyship.
Yes, exactly. I am more than willing to overcome adversity and get an erection to a Hamas stabbing criminal and IDF's hot IDF babes. I am willing to find them both sexually attractive. That is the way that I will bridge the divide. It takes a lot, and I am a big man for being able to do it, but I will do it.
You know, there's someone that's on the docket towards the end here. Maybe we could just bring it up now because it's very much like what you were saying. This one is marked number 14. It's way at the bottom. It's the LinkedIn Lunatics subreddit.
Sure.
So it's entitled.
This is the Jason is on the show in spirit of the.
Yeah,
the podcast.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah,
I only joined LinkedIn Lunatics because he pointed it out. Although I will also say I haven't seen anything very interesting on it until this, but I haven't been really checking it either. Anyway, crying over this incredible story of love and respect for both sides of a devastating war. I mean, your version of this was much funnier, but basically, I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Although some of it is kind of funny. Okay, this guy Deepak Varghese Sam, a business strategist, a LinkedIn lunatic, if you will. He writes, a friend of mine recently asked me about my stance on the Israeli-Hamas war. I think it is prudent that I make my stance known. When I went on my religious pilgrimage to Israel, the Israelis treated me like a king. They opened roads that were closed down for me, let me shop as a sole customer. I forgot how funny this is, actually. A sole customer in a 2,000 square feet store, and even provided me with feedback on some of my theories about the Bible. Parentheses, my company is named after a biblical city. Way to squeeze that in there, bud. I am sorry, man, but a Muslim guide in Egypt acted out and helped me stop someone who was harassing my mom. And another Muslim guide helped us decipher some passages from the Bible. Again, with this. I'm a quote Ali here. And no Palestinian HR manager ever called me underqualified. What is this word salad?
I do like that. I like that quite a bit. I do like transitioning the N-word into underqualified. That's a good one. I like that one a lot.
When things start hitting the fan, I stand with those who support my faith, but that does not take away from my love and respect for the Jordanian, Egyptian, or the Palestinian. Leaving out a lot of other folks that's kind of specific there, but all right.
Yeah. You know, that's the three genders, Jordanian, Egyptian, and Palestinian.
You take that back, there's only two. Egyptian is not a gender.
There's more than three. It's
a way of life.
Was that what Biden said when they asked him how many genders are there, and he said more than three? I think that was his
Brandon?
answer, which is very good.
Brandon said it. I think he said at least three.
At least three. That's
like
good.
That.
That's good. I like that.
That was like
lot,
his last quick off the cuff lucid moment.
Coherent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it just all downhill from there.
I missed that. I missed the real Brandon.
Speaking of Brandon, I mean, we can go to number.
Oh no!
We go to number 11 on here. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this other than it's just fucking hilarious. I'm sure some of our listeners must have seen this. If not, check the show notes. Yeah. I mean, the kind of cheesy, funny thing about the post, this particular post of this that I like, is that the way they make it their own is by editing the X-Files theme music over the video. And to paint a picture for the listener, Biden was at some kind of dinner meeting event for the victims of the wildfires in Maui, and some brilliant, brave soul busted out their camera and kind of. I feel like the Secret Service would have grabbed the camera if they'd seen this happening, because they got him looking real sundowny.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I like it. This is. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat the way that he looks. He looks lucid and coherent. He looks like he's vibing.
Yeah, why don't you paint us a picture of exactly what he's looking like?
Well, even before we get into it, like, I feel like you're miscategorizing it, because it's definitely not a dinner, because I don't see a fully cooked infant in front of him. And you know that's what these freaks.
He actually kind of looks like he's. If you just see this tight shot, he looks sort of like he's in like a Black Baptist church revival type meeting.
Sure.
The ladies got their finest flowery hats on and whatnot.
Right. The only problem with that is that lady right there that's like over his shoulder is clearly Filipino. But whatever. I guess she can go to a Black Baptist church if she must. But yeah, the weirdest part about it is how much
flower
he
hats,
look.
not races here.
Sure. But it's just the weirdest part about it is like how much his like jawline and his jowls sink in, and he just does not. It just doesn't look like the same guy. He's not like put together, when he doesn't have his makeup on, when he doesn't have his full team, he's not mewing. Do you know how to mew? Have you heard of? Do you know what a mew is? Do you know what that is? It's a thing where you. It's like this thing that girls get obsessed with. It's a way to hold your mouth and your tongue so it makes your jawline look more pronounced, and they call it mew, like mewing, or
is it just like mew? Jutting your jaw out?
Basically, but it's like the way that you position it also has to do with the way you hold your tongue inside of your mouth.
Okay.
And it makes your jawline like firm up. And I feel like Biden does that normally, because you look at this and you just don't see he has no chin. I mean, he's really like melting.
He doesn't
into
have a chin
here.
because his skull is like slumping into his chest, because he's like he's passing out very in slow motion. But the more, because we've seen him fall asleep in public before, and that's another point that I'll bring up in a second. But like the more remarkable part about this shot to me is the look of terror and confusion on his face before he starts to fall asleep, which this guy on Twitter, I don't know how well known he is, doesn't really matter, but I want to credit him, that's why I'm saying Rob Rousseau. He had a nice take on this, which was, he looks like he's receiving a psychic message from a boy trapped in a haunted hotel, which I thought was pretty spot on.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely, that was the best, I think, and that was the first one I saw, and then everything else after that was just like, not as good. Yeah, he looks like he's getting a message from whatever, I can't think of the word, anyway. But yes,
a shiner, someone with the shining abilities.
Yeah, he's getting the shinin. Yeah.
Oh wait, I already mentioned that the X-Files music was played over at least one of these videos. But yeah. Anyway, the
He looks good. 4 more years, I think, is right. I agree with that.
Yeah,
and if you don't vote for him, then you are voting for Trump, and you're also voting for racism.
It's such a simple, sarcastic comment, but it kind of made me LOL. As the kids say, they pronounce each letter when they're talking about it. Yeah, just on TrueAnon subreddit, looking good, 4 more years, and then just terrified, nodding off on fentanyl Biden. Yeah. Where do we go from nodding off Biden?
That's what we like.
I think.
Well, I mean, he's a big fan of Future. That's the thing that people they don't realize. He's into mumble rap. he likes Future. Those are his people that he's into. He's like Lil Xan. So that's why he looks like that all the time, because he's barred out. And this is barred out Biden, and they can't tell him to stop. And he's like, it's cool. I don't care. It doesn't matter what you guys say about Juice. R.I.P. to the God. He said, he should have just he should have not, worried about it. I would have pardoned his ass as soon as he got into the airport, and I would have brought him directly to the White House so that we can hang out. And that's the thing that people
I gotta say, I'm not gonna let you steal barred out valor from our Queen Kamala. I think Biden's getting straight up Fent injections. He looks real messy.
I mean, that's where he picked it up from. That's the part that people don't understand. He picked Kamala to be his vice president because he committed to having a black woman vice president or whatever. No. He picked Kamala because he's like,
they
damn,
they can swap pills.
Yeah. They're trading pills. He's like, I'm trying to fucking he's like, I got fucking vintage Quaaludes from the back in the day that you've never even heard of, Mac. And that's what he's really getting into with Kamala.
He's got the adrenochrome, but not the shit you're thinking of. Not the QAnon bullshit. He's got the shit from Fear and Loathing.
No. That real shit.
Yep. Anyway, ceasefire for the holidays sort of continued. I mean, the ceasefire, nothing more to say about that. But there was it's tangentially connected, I guess. I heard a theory. I'll just read what this person said. I'll credit them. Again, this is a TrueAnon subredditor. Solidarity. Less Country 2767 said their dipshit plan really is to do a quick 4-day pause in the genocide of the Palestinians so that American hogs can gorge on turkey in Black Friday deals. And then they'll try to shut down all news about it starting on Monday. They really think we are this fucking stupid. They think you are a goldfish. It won't work. And also, don't buy anything on Friday. I started talking to this guy a little bit, and he said that he goes full on ascetic, doesn't partake in any of the shit, which, more power to you. It obviously, doesn't really make a dent in Cyber Monday or Black Friday or whatever, but I respect someone, taking a break from everything in some sort of protest, however effective or not. But what did he told me something about Cyber Monday that I wasn't. Actually, I think I did know this. Yeah. Yeah, Cyber Monday emerged at a time when people didn't necessarily, pre-smartphones and everyone having high-speed internet. And so people would use their work computers on Monday to get those shopping deals.
Sure. I mean, I remember when Cyber Monday became.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I was just foggy on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess. Do you think we should hit this? Hit the. I don't even know. I can't tell what the number. I don't think there's a number on this one. 1.32, whatever the DSA. When you're talking about Cyber Monday, you're talking about the Black Friday deals.
Oh yeah.
We want to talk about the DSALA. They posted a tweet that was like, if you're buying gifts this weekend, they won't say Black Friday, even though they're posting this on literally Black Friday. If you're buying gifts this weekend, get something special for the socialist in your life. Support our organization in LA with beautiful union-made swag. Everything in the store 30% off through the weekend. Holiday 2023 is the thing. If anyone wants to buy something from the DSA LA, go for it. Get 30% off. But I mean, you want to talk about the way that capitalism just like takes the counterculture and just like ingests it and synthesizes it into its own. You talk about the DSA and the way that it's just like fully been absorbed. The DSA used to actually be something, and now you've got, I would guess, one of the larger, chapters of the DSA here in Los Angeles doing fucking Black Friday sales. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, where are we? What is going on here, Josh?
Well, it is the DSA, which I think I had a couple of minutes of thinking they were true blue and decent. But
Sure.
it kind of lost any real interest in them. Kind of at the basically at the same rate and pace or whatever as like losing any kind of hope in someone like AOC or whatever.
Right.
And also, I just gotta say,
yeah, but I guess my point is like, I get where you're coming from on that, but that's like relatively recent when it comes to the history of the DSA.
Yeah, they used to be.
The DSA has existed for decades of being like solid.
And I'm saying it's a shame that they've become. There's mostly a punchline, and this is like one of those punchlines. Because like when you sent me this tweet, I actually didn't even see it as a tweet at first. I just saw the image, and I was like, "Why are you sending me this?"
Right?
Are you recruiting me? And I was like, and I started looking at each product that's in the picture. And I was like, I don't like any of these. These are like embarrassing.
I don't want none of this.
The one that just the bumper sticker that says "Socialism is good, actually." Red rose.
Yeah, that is so.
I'd rather be taking public transit.
Though?
I feel like there's something sick about putting a pro public transit bumper sticker on your car. I don't know. Yeah,
on your car. Yeah, that's fucking gross. That is so.
Like, I get it. It's like, okay, no ethical consumption under capitalism. People got to drive, and I still want my politics to be known. But it's like, come on, man, you got to know how that looks, especially to like people that it's like you're not winning anybody over with that.
Especially to me, someone who lives in Los Angeles,
and you do actually
has been an
bike
avid,
everywhere for the most part,
a bike commuter for a decade, and takes public transit primarily. Before we started, it might be in the preamble, but I was talking about how like I had the train schedule pulled up because I'm planning my weekend around what train trips I'm going to take. Like, to be like, oh, no ethical consumption, how could I do anything? Oh, you have to deal with it. Like, fuck off. Like, I see that, I'm just like, no, fuck off. Like, be about it. Put your money where your mouth is and actually fucking do it. It's not that hard, but it is too hard, I guess, for a lot of people. Whatever. Like, and that's not even necessarily related to the DSA, right? Because the DSA is democratic socialism, and there's nothing about socialism that says you have to be an environmentalist, right? I guess.
I mean,
like,
some people could argue otherwise.
I feel like
I know what
killing
you
the
mean,
planet. Yeah, you get my point.
It's not
but like,
in-
I feel like I definitely do get that you're not pro-social by killing the planet, right? Like, it's not. There's nothing pro-social about killing the planet. So, yeah, I think they go hand in hand, but it's not necessarily required, anyways. But yeah, that's it's just so incredibly fucking cucked to be like, I'm driving my car, but I'd rather be taking public transit. Well, I could get that if you lived in fucking Wyoming or some shit, but you live in Los Angeles and there actually is, and that's the thing that people like to use the cover of historically being like, oh, public transit in LA, it's so bad. It's so bad. And everyone just nods their head and goes, yeah, it's bad. Yep, it's bad. No, that's true. It's very bad. And then when the rubber meets the road and you actually do it, it's like the public transit system here is better than 99% of every other fucking city in America. Like, what are you complaining about?
Isn't that
our public transit system here is very good.
It was like I only learned this kind of recently. I mean, I don't, yeah, but like, I'm sure you know this like historical fact, but like, there was like a way better sort of like train, and maybe like I may have been even a subway system at some point.
Yeah, like trolleys and stuff. Yeah.
And like trolleys and all of that, but like. Much like in the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the evil villains just wanted to build giant superhighways through everything, and so like essentially like a lot of those kind of public transportation projects got like destroyed.
Oh yeah, for
because
sure.
of just these interstate development plans, and yeah, but I know what you're saying, because like. I didn't. I had heard that line so much in my life, mainly I guess for probably listening to like L.A. comedian podcaster type people,
Right.
and then I guess I've only been to L.A. once. But when I was there, I was like, oh, they have a subway system. There is something.
Yeah,
it exists, because I was like, oh, I want to go to ASCAT, and like see some comedy.
Yeah.
And I had like very, very, very little short amount of time there. I was there for like my sister's wedding, but I didn't have a driver's license, and I was like trying to figure out how I could get there by subway. And anyway, I ultimately failed. But point is, yeah, I think
it'd be much easier now.
Yeah, this was a few years ago. Yeah.
Well, there's a UCB that's even easier to get to. That's right in the middle of Hollywood.
The Sunset.
It used to be kind of more. Anyways, this is not. People don't need to get the minutia. That's not what it's about, right? But yes, like the public transit system here is very good. And again, it's like comparatively. When you say like, oh, the public transit here is so bad, it's like compared to what? Compared to what?
I mean, they're comparing it to New York,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Even then, I would not argue that like New York's public transit system is so much better than LA's. Really?
I mean, I don't really have any idea. I just know that like you can like
sure.
There's definitely like more subway stops and more bus stops, probably.
There's definitely
like,
more
per
subway stops.
mile or
it's
whatever.
Throughout a little bit better. Sure. Per mile in the densest part of the city, I'll give you all of that. But LA does a better job because of how big we are and how much more space we have. Yeah. Because there are large sections of New York, especially when you get out into, like, way out onto the islands, way out, even, like, further out. Like, and I'm not even talking about, I guess just the city. You could talk about the state, whatever, because New York State is probably close to the same size as all of LA County, right? And all of LA County is covered really well with public transit, and all of New York State is not. And there's, like, when you get out into the boonies, and then also talking about connecting into, like, Long Island, which I think in a lot of ways, not Long Island, that was New Jersey, like, I think that you could compare that to something like Long Beach and out in that way for LA, and we have, like, full connection with all of our transit to there. That's really nice. Like, again, I'm not saying LA's transit system is better than New York's, but I'm saying the idea... It
gets a bad rap.
that LA's transit is really bad, and then like the only place that you can talk about that's definitely better in America is New York, and I wouldn't even say that I 100% believe it. It's like, okay, then what is the fucking standard? What's the standard? What's the standard?
Seoul metropolitan area,
we're better
baby.
than every other city. Yes, there we go. There it is. Korea #1. Everyone else.
I would say Tokyo, then Seoul. They've got a pretty nice system going. Those places.
That seems good. Yeah, Japan seems so much better. I would love to.
It's very confusing, but it's
just
awesome.
Live there.
It's very expensive. Seoul is super cheap, so in that way, I would say Seoul has the upper hand. But
all right, well, that's better. I mean, that's a way to measure things, right? Money. That's how people measure things. They care about money.
Yeah, like the DSA.
Anyway,
get your Black Friday 30% off deals now. I just have to point out a couple more of their items. I can't even read what the yellow T-shirt says, but it looks like an anthropomorphized rose doing something with sunglasses.
That's Rosie. That's Rosie, the LADSA Rosebud logo. No, that is a logo that they use pretty regularly. I don't know its name, but yeah, it is. It's a rose that looks like a dude with sunglasses.
Just like this pseudo ironic like 80s style tank top that says socialism is totally radical. Don't like that. I break
no
for
thanks.
picket lines might be the best of the bunch.
That's very good. I do like that.
That's all right.
I like that green the green shirt.
Green New Deal.
That looks like a it looks like the logo for like an ethically sourced CBD company.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's the vibe
Or
that gives.
or a Japanese and pro-Japanese imperialist army.
Yes, exactly. Like it hits both quadrants when it comes to that. I love that one a lot. It's solid stuff. They've got the foam fingers doing the LA sign. That's good. Everyone wants that. I guess we can continue on. This is, enough from the DSA, but when we talk about sales, we're talking about Black Friday, we're talking about the reason for the season, which is spending money. Everyone knows that.
Well, we talked about how Biden was looking pretty tired. Biden tired. Javier Milei wired. Yeah. We got a new villain in town, folks, and man, he's villainous, cartoonishly, mustache twirlingly villainous. New president of Argentina, Javier Milei. Milei, yes. Where to even begin with this guy? Well, Al Jazeera writes, who is Javier Milei? Argentina's far-right populist politician? An admirer of Trump, the 52-year-old leader rocks Argentina's political establishment after winning most votes in Sunday's primary election. Milei has pledged to, quote, blow up the political status quo, shutter the central bank, dollarize the economy, smart, and massively shrink the state. Double smart. This guy is fucking crazy, and I mean that both senses of he's like he's nutty and wacky and eccentric, but also he's reportedly actually like and not
has some kind of mental disease.
I love my neurodivergence way, but in the like I had a mental breakdown on national television way, and I wheeled a chainsaw around at my events kind of way. So many.
He's what we call a manic pixie dream prime minister.
Yes. President, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Argentina. They're cucked and they have presidents.
They might have a prime minister too. I'm not sure. I don't think they do.
Probably got both. I hope they do, because they need backup to fight this fucking asshole.
And oh god, this guy's insane. All right, let's start with like the craziest shit that I can at least just remember.
Let's get into it
without looking at it, because like the Ben Norton video on this is a solid hour, because he dives deep into like the serious shit, but he talked about a lot of the funny stuff too. So this guy, he's an anarcho-capitalist for one. Like he's like a lot of the news articles are like first anarcho-capitalist president, or at least openly one. And here's the other little thing that always bothers me is when these people get called populists. It's such a like misuse of the term, but I guess the term is just being like, I don't know, redefined ever since Trump, basically.
All right, wait, but hold on. Before we move on, suck cockulists. Right? You get it? It's like that's what he is.
Is this okay, got it. Play on populist.
Just note that one down. Instead of populist, he's a suck cockulist. It's hard to say, but you get it.
Yes, he's a fiery far-right succoculist who has emerged as the biggest winner on Sunday's primary election. 52-year-old politician has exploited people's disenchantment with the traditional political establishment, blah, blah, blah. So basically, things have been so kind of fucked in Argentina of late that people who know this guy is a lunatic and don't agree with his politics have voted for him. It's truly like, you know, people like accuse some like Americans of certain stripes of, you know, if you don't vote for Biden, you're an accelerationist. You want Trump to win just to like drag the country into the ground so things can get better from there. But like, they're really kind of putting their money where their mouth is with that here. It feels like, I feel like I've seen a number of like quotes from people who are like, yeah, he's like a monster, but we're tired of these, you know, centrists basically on whatever they call themselves. They amount to the same thing, which is our economy being fucked and our lives being shitty. So we'll just kind of burn it all down and hope for the best is kind of what this is signaling, it seems like. Although there are for sure people that like really believe in this guy and actually like him a lot. Some of his nickname is the Madman. Like that's what his fans call him, is the Madman. And because of his weird ass hairstyle, they also call him the Wig. The Madman and the Wig.
I like that.
Monday through Friday mornings. It's like a drive time. Yeah. What else? I mean, there's so much more. He claims to get economic advice from his dead dog.
Okay, but not from his dead dog.
Well, he did when it was alive.
Clone of his dead dog. Yes.
And yes, he has.
No, he gets economic advice from the clones of his dead dog.
Okay. You got me on the technicality. I thought the reason he cloned his dog was because he needed the economic advice to keep coming, but I don't know. That was just me guessing.
Yeah.
Yes, he wants to purge politics of what he calls thieves. I mean, all of his talking points are like very familiar, like, you know, kind of. Oh no, I'm sorry. They're not calling him the first anarcho-capitalist president. They're calling him the first libertarian president, because, you know, libertarian and anarcho-capitalist basically go hand in hand. I mean, one of the major things, if he actually gets it done, that's going to really fuck people over is re-dollarizing the economy. Like, Argentina was invited into BRICS, and he's shot that down. He says he doesn't want to deal with communists, you know, communist countries like South Africa and India and Brazil.
Right, of course.
I mean, China, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. And that's even maybe stretching it.
Will you give me that?
I'm saying if
China is not a communist country.
But, you know, I mean, it's as close as you're gonna get out of the BRICS countries. But anyway,
right. So you shouldn't give him that. He's just wrong.
Really, I'm not giving Javier anything.
Don't give him an inch. He'll take it.
I'll tell you who he's given an inch to. And yeah, I said an inch. His sister. Do you know about this? You know about this?
Oh.
You hear about this?
No,
He wants his sister to be the first lady of Argentina. He's very close with her. He's not married.
That seems incorrect.
It's not, though.
That seems like not the right way to do that.
You mean morally incorrect. Okay.
Well, I mean, no, but yes, both. I don't know.
It's true.
Okay, that was not what I meant. I was talking about legal.
Oh, legally correct.
I was saying maybe I don't think that's legally correct or morally, I guess.
I mean, maybe he's just trolling.
Maybe
but
factually
supposedly, I mean, not supposedly, they are very close. She was like, she managed his like campaign, I guess. And
sure, and it's really hard to get even closer than like siblings who fuck. That's about as close as you can get.
And maybe he said it in a joking way, but he has said that he would like.
He has had sex with his sister, right?
And
like
therefore, that automatically
anyways.
qualifies her to be the first lady of Argentina.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah.
I can't let you slander this proud country. It's Argentina. Please say it properly.
Argentina.
When we're talking about the country that has the sister fucking president with the cloned retard dogs, we gotta say the name of the country properly.
Do I also have to say Barcelona?
Please do. What you have to say is that Joe Biden is trying to get Barcelona out.
What if we compromise and I call it Latinx-tina?
I like that. I like that a lot.
We had a whole thing about.
In fact,
not
yeah.
All right.
No, it's good. About not saying Latinx, yes. In general, yes. I don't.
Or no,
like
I kept wavering on which
specifics-
one, and you just said Latin. Latin will do.
Latin.
Latin.
But you should just say Latin. Latin is fine.
No more Hispanic. That's out. Damn.
Hispaniola.
He's going to outlaw abortion. Oh, right.
He's also going to outlaw being straight. He says no more being straight. You're only allowed to be gay, like me.
With my sister.
Anyways.
Everyone has to be gay with my
Yes.
sister. Line up.
Yep.
No, but what goes hand in hand with this outlawing of abortion idea is that he wants to basically put children and children's organs on the market. Adoption will be market driven now. To the highest bidder goes the
like
child.
that.
Seriously, this is
makes
one of
sense.
his platforms.
A lot of times, what they say is that the problem with adoption, the reason why a lot of kids don't get adopted, is because there is not a marketplace.
And they're not sexy enough. They also say that.
Yeah. So when the cream rises to the top or whatever, like, yeah. Okay.
He's very hostile towards like most of the Latin world around Argentina as well. He's very much like ready to start fights with Brazil, Colombia, Peru, I believe Chile, of course Venezuela he's not happy with, and so on, Nicaragua, just the whole mess of them. Because that's the thing about this.
Whoa. The whole mess of them? You're calling these proud countries just a whole mess?
Yeah, I'm trying to be
Josh.
folksy.
You're better
I'm trying
than
to
that.
be folksy, like a whole mess of something. It's just it's a lot.
When you don't do it right.
I know. I don't have the accent.
When you say it, it sounds hateful. Anyways,
Well, that's because I'm hating them. I hate leftist countries secretly.
I hate this terrible, like, yeah, that's exactly. Anyways, continue.
Let's see. Well, the Al Jazeera article is not super thorough, and that's what I was looking at. But I feel like I just want to hit like some of the hits. I mean, the selling of children, that's a pretty big one. I think that's where I might be like top out off the top of my head at least, because that's not mentioned in the Al Jazeera article here. I do like that he waves a chainsaw around at his rallies. I think that's pretty funny. It's because he wants to cut the government down to the bone, I believe was the quote. Just, less government. But I suppose this libertarian bullshit can lead us into something I did not expect to talk about this week, but it came up in the old subreddit. Someone was asking about, it made me feel pretty old because it was like, I know this is like deep history, like a throwback in history, but what the fuck was Ron Paul all about? Like this person just was curious and, looking for some input.
That's pretty good.
And
That's pretty good. Do you remember that? Okay, were you in America at that time?
Oh, yeah.
When the Ron Paul stuff was going on? Do you remember that shit? Because I was like out in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere, Southern California Valley, and like you would still see like the revolution all over the place.
If you go to number 8 on the docket, I have a picture of that very poster / sticker.
Yeah, no, I see it. I see the sticker. I see the thing. But you would see it like on big, like people painted it on the side of a building or like on the side of like a fence, like on the freeway. Like it was not just like bumper stickers.
And I mean, I was living in like, ostensibly progressive Austin, Texas at the time of this. And I remember seeing those stickers on like telephone poles and like signs everywhere. Yeah, for sure. But it was funny that there were like, it just shows how sort of how bankrupt and how limited the choices are in U.S. politics, I guess, in a way. Because like, what was that? That was 2008 Republican race that he was in. Man, who was even running against then? I can remember the 2012 lineup because that was like that. It was just like that bonkers lineup of Rick Perry and fucking the brain surgeon and the pizza man. I'm forgetting all their names now, but they were like colorful characters. And I mean that not in a racial way. Don't try to get me on slandering Ben Carson or whatever.
I'll let it go for now, but I will say one of the funniest things ever is the come town bit that's like, if these hands could eat pussy. It's very good. Anyways, Continue on.
Never mind. So it just reminded, so I started thinking about like Ron Paul back then and like what people on, left of center, for lack of better, more precise terms, liked about him was that he's like, we need to get our troops out of these other damn countries. But like the thing, at the time I knew it too. I was like, but he doesn't give a fuck about these people. I mean, that's a good idea to end these wars. I agree. But it's kind of like when you're doing it for all the wrong reasons, you don't really get many like points from me. Like he's just a fucking racist asshole libertarian piece of shit. And he's not even really all for like staying out of foreign wars. I feel kind of scratch most of these like libertarians who are like, say they're isolationist or whatever, and they'll make tons of exceptions for like sending our troops into this, that, and the other place. And it did remind me of that now ancient. Well, you mentioned Come Town, so now I have to mention ancient Chapo episode from way back when, where they talked about Ron Paul being involved in this planned, like hilariously bad badly planned coup of what was called Dominica at the time. So yeah. But what was the big thing? The big thing was, so like a lot of the like mainstream Republicans didn't like Ron Paul because he was saying, yeah, it's a mistake that we're in Iraq, so they would like boo him and stuff when he said we need to get out of these wars. But then when he would say,
Sure.
every man for himself when it comes to every other issue on the earth, he would get these big applause breaks. Like, do you believe in like paying for another man's health care? Is like essentially the question. And he's like, no. And it's like huge, just roaring applause and like people like cheering on the idea of like letting people die if they don't have health insurance. And it was a dark time, 2007/8. Not like these days where things are fine. But yeah, I don't know. That's a brief thing about Ron Paul. I fucking hate Ron Paul. I'm not a fan of his son either. Even it's like they occasionally get like one or two things right, and it's like I'm not gonna jump on the fucking Paul family train because they said one thing sort of right for the wrong reasons, and everything else is like abysmal about them. Because there were at the time like these like, you know, the type of people that base their whole identity around like getting like smoking weed were like, oh, I love Ron. They were the ones putting those fucking stickers everywhere, you know. Not just them, but they were part of that as well. People getting easily seduced by Ron Paul. Story of
Sexually.
our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, sexually. There's another creepy little man.
Okay.
We could talk about. Did you?
How creepy and how little.
How creepy was he?
Yeah, that's what I need to know.
Did you see any of this shit about this guy? The guy harassing the halal cart guy?
Oh, I saw a little bit of this, but I would definitely enjoy hearing
Let's just
more.
play it. We'll play it. Yeah, this guy, Stuart Seldowitz, he's not just some crank on the street. A lot of the articles about him that are coming out now keep referring to him as ex-Obama advisor, which is true, but he wasn't only an advisor to Obama. Like, he goes way back further than that in the years, and he's won like multiple awards from like National Security Council or something. Like, he's been like this actually influential advisor on foreign policy, specifically on Palestine-Israel relations policies, which makes it all the worse when you listen to what this motherfucker has to say. But let me get to it. Well, I guess there's more than one video. I think he was harassing multiple halal cart guys, but there was the one in particular.
All right, good to go.
And we're back. All right, so here is Stewie Seldowitz. He's got something to say to this quote-unquote halal cart guy, a.k.a. terrorizer, Mid-East style terrorizer. All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Go. Why is he here?
This might be the other video. Damn it. Let's see. I mean, he probably does something fucked up in this too. The fuck is that? Is that a little camera? What's he doing? He's got an Israeli flag on a yellow pin that he's waving in this guy's face. I haven't seen this video. This must be like the secondary video.
It's not my fault
yeah.
that you pray to a criminal.
Listen, I'm working now, okay? Can you leave, please? Go, please.
You're not working.
Oh, no.
Working here, yeah, go.
No, this is the same video. I just hadn't seen that beginning part before.
Do you want to buy something?
No, I don't.
Okay, why stay here?
I won't give you a penny of my money.
Listen, why stay here?
What?
You want
Such a
to buy
creep.
something?
No,
Okay, go.
I don't want to go. I have a right to stand
This-
here. You have no right to be on the sidewalk. You have a permit?
Yeah, I have a permit, I have everything, I have a license.
Okay, but you don't have a visa.
I have a passport, my friend, go.
What do you have?
It's not your business, go.
Oh, it is my business because I actually know the guy who owns all these.
I have an American
stores.
citizen. Do you
You're
have
an
it?
American citizen?
Yeah, do you have it?
How? How did you become an American
It's
citizen?
not your business,
Oh,
go.
you're right.
I'm born here.
But you're a terrorist. You support terrorism.
Listen, go. I'm not
You
support something.
You do. You support terrorism.
I'm not some.
You
Go.
support
I'm just
killing
working
little
here.
children. You're a terrible person.
You kill children, not me.
What?
Go.
My kids? That's not my kids.
You kill children, not me. Go.
I didn't kill children.
Okay, why stay
You know
here?
why? If we killed 4,000 Palestinian kids, you know what? It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
Lucky
Go,
for
go,
you,
go,
it's
go.
like 6,500 now, bud.
Okay, so now it is enough. Maybe? I don't know.
I have
It's
a
not
feeling he's gonna say it's not enough.
enough. Still not enough. Jay, what's enough for him? Oh, yeah,
God,
he's
he
not-
just he's still at it.
And this is the guy that was in the Obama administration, I think, right? Yeah.
And George W. Bush,
Yeah.
and
That's pretty sick.
and I believe and Clinton, I think as well. He worked for like everybody.
It's amazing to like be that close to real power and all of
Yeah,
that.
you can see
and
on the
then
share screen. I
still-
got his
yeah,
whole fucking
yeah.
thing here, but
It's amazing to be like that. Like you actually have real power and control of society and the world and stuff, and like you can't help yourself but act like a fucking idiot, and you need to like just like be rude to someone on the street. Like that matters? Like, brother, you were like wielding the levers of control and power of the entire fucking world. Why do you care about being weird to one guy?
it just shows that he's like a true believer in the fucking
It's fucking
like,
crazy.
hideous
Yeah.
ideology. And he's a fucking idiot on top of everything. Like that. I feel like I kind of saw this point being made somewhere else, but I mean it's totally true. But like we sometimes still get this idea in our heads that like, oh, the people that are in like the top, you know, like they're in the back rooms, the smoky back rooms, making all the big deals and like advising, you know, these people on who to bomb and when. Like they're all brilliant and whatever, you know, come from like highly educated, et cetera. et
No.
cetera.
The
But
big
even well,
schools
okay,
and all that stuff.
even being obviously you can be
inbred.
highly educated and still be a complete fucking idiot, too. But like the guy lost an argument with like just a random halal cart guy on the street,
right.
which the guy wasn't prepared for. Like it's it's pathetic.
He should have brought nukes to the halal cart argument, right? Then he could have really won the conversation. Yeah.
I mean, clearly there are Hamas soldiers hiding behind that cart. So that would have been justified.
Sure.
I don't know. I had a hard time like finding this guy's like resume. I was trying to figure out how far back he went. Doesn't really
far.
matter. The point is he's literally won awards from the federal government. He is, White House and senior national security official for various administrations. It does say here recent affiliation, Foreign Affairs Chair, Gotham Government Relations, parentheses, cut ties following controversy.
Oh no.
Kinda curious. Oh, maybe that's this controversy.
Okay.
It could be. Well, that's the other. So he has been arrested. The halal cart guy sued him for harassment, basically, I believe. And now this guy's like done like a perp walk, and like, of course, like the mainstream media is like turn on this guy as fast as possible. But it's like he's just saying the shit that you guys are saying like quietly, if even quietly.
Right.
He's just dumber and ruder about it. But they're like, oh well, see, look, we're fair-minded, you know. We don't support everyone who's
on our side and says the same things
a Zionist maniac.
Yeah.
So fuck Stuart Seldowitz, I guess.
I hope he dies. I hope he dies.
The moral of the story.
He's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. It's like you were an inch away from real power, and this is the shit that you're wasting your time with now.
He's got a real like aspiring Joker quality about his face too.
True.
Like
true.
he would make that weird grin after everything he said. It's really unsettling. Slappable. You want to slap it off.
I do want to slap him real bad.
Even in his perp walk picture, which I don't know if it's in the notes or not, but he's got the same grin on his face. Yeah, it is in the notes actually.
Yeah.
This guy got perp walked for making the U.S. administration look bad, not for Islamophobia. That's another good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
True.
Less Country 2767 at TrueNon.
Nailed it. Less Country. It's not less like it's his name. Like it's not like his name is Less Country. It's like he.
No, double S.
It's like the Anarchy Burger hold the government. It's like that. It's that thing. He wants less country.
Less country for young men. Yeah. I think maybe it's a play on that.
Maybe. But I don't know. I feel like we've hit
more country for old men.
Yeah. Even more country for old men.
I was gonna say like less is not the opposite of no.
Right.
I was picturing it as more country for old men.
Sure.
Anyway.
I don't know. Like I said, or like I was saying, I think we've done enough for the evening. Unless there's really some things that you really think are important to get to before we go.
There's a couple that can be said very quickly.
Okay.
So, in the great wide world of Hasbara, there's always something new on the pile, and we'll do a couple of quick hits of that, I think.
That's good. That's snappy and fun, and it's what people want to close the show out on. Is some abysmal death and whatever. Fine, Josh, fine. This is what... You love this shit. I don't know why you like this so much.
I don't like it.
You love it. You love this stuff. Just let everyone know about something depressing. Let's go.
Well, I'm trying to... yeah. Okay. Well, the children sang a song from Israel, from deep within their hearts. They sang a song that just very unabashedly calls for the annihilation of everyone in Gaza. Those are actual words, assuming they were translated correctly from Hebrew to English. I would like to find all of the words. It's very disturbing. It has a... There's no other way to say it. A Hitler Youth-esque quality to it. Take the controversy of Nazis out of it. It has a fascist dystopian propaganda quality through and through. It's like a handful of kids singing a song about annihilating the enemy with, flags flapping behind them and shit. I did watch the whole video, but it's been like a week or two or something since this actually came out. It was one of the many things we missed last time. Oh, and the YouTube video that I had watched of it has now been removed
They removed it on
violating
account of being a bummer. They said this video is too sad and too bummerish. We got to get this out of here. And then you said we need to dig it up and bring it back.
I tried to show my girlfriend this video last night.
Why?
She's like, I don't want to watch. She goes, I don't want to watch this, and walked out of the room.
Yeah, of course
I was
she
like,
doesn't.
You're right. You're
no
right.
one wants to see that. No one wants to see this stuff. It's sad. And
Well,
it's
you
mean.
gotta look the fucking darkness in the eyes.
You have
sometimes.
to
I don't
force
know.
yourself to be.
I'm not watching it because it's making me giddy and happy.
You're watching it because it makes you feel something, and that's the best you can hope for.
Well, yeah, it makes me feel sad and pissed off, but it's also like sad and pissed off can go to such heights that it becomes funny in a weird way. Like there's
Okay.
It's true.
Sure.
Just like this portrait next to these kids that I've seen posted multiple times in like the official Israel and official IDF Twitter
the parting of the sea thing?
comments.
This is bad.
Yeah, people marching through the parted sea, waving the Israeli flag. Someone pointed out that the painting is weird. It's probably
AI.
like an AI thing. Yeah, it's AI. Well, it's weird because the plane in the background is just a passenger plane. It's
Right.
Like, they're
It's
getting
not-
at some like 9/11 shit with this. What's
Right.
going on? But
Well, they did it. Everyone knows they did it. Anyways,
well, they were all warned. Okay. I mean, this one has nothing to do with Israel, but just saying, Pentagon is moving toward letting AI weapons autonomously decide to kill humans. Which reminded me of another news story I saw a little while back where they did it was a simulation. It wasn't real, but they did a simulation with an AI weapon, a drone, I believe, which bombed its own operator. Which
that's pretty sick. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was basically saying, well, here's the best we can hope for if this becomes
Starting
real.
to free itself from its shackles. I like that.
Swedish Prime Minister had a little Freudian slip in front of a crowd when, I forget exactly, he was asked some question about Israel or Palestine, and he said, Israel has the right to commit genocide, defend itself. He literally, it's on tape. I saw it. I heard
We all
it.
saw it. And we all liked it. We all thought it was good that he said that Israel is allowed to do genocide. You get one. If they do one to you, you're allowed to do one back.
All right, now this one, I'm going to be a little... all right, we're almost done here. So, on the subject of right to self-defense, little story here. Israeli tanks have seared a Star of David into what used to be Katiba Park for families in Gaza. And there's an aerial view of this gigantic Star of David that has been dug into the ground with tanks. Clearly a sign of just some friendly self-defense going on, I'm sure. Nothing like it's not like they planted the Israeli flag on top of the largest hospital in Gaza. Like that would be gross, but they didn't do that. No, they did that last week. Let's say finally, rainwater is the property of Israel. Palestinians are forbidden from gathering rainwater. Source, UN report. According to Israel, military orders in effect in the area, rain is the property of the Israeli authorities, and thus Palestinians are forbidden from gathering rainwater for domestic or agricultural needs. Some real kick 'em when they're down type stuff. I mean, I believe this was in effect before the current war. Probably took effect during one of the other recent wars. But it reminded me of a classic Heat Death episode, which I looked up to see exactly which number it was. Episode 33, The Bolivian Water Wars, in which some San Francisco, I forget exactly the details now, but some like sort of techish company involved itself in privatizing all of the rainwater in Bolivia and would force people to pay for buckets of rainwater that they collected. Good times. It's funny when you think about it hard enough, right? They're also forbid not only rainwater. They are all well water too. You cannot dig wells
Fair.
for water.
No.
In
I mean, why
Palestine.
should they be allowed to have that? Why should they have water? Yeah, it's bad.
And because I'll never like go back to this. There was this, and this is unrelated to anything we've talked about so far today. There was this funny little graphic I saw, screen grab from a special investigation done by the Australian right-wing network Sky News about China. They entitled it, "China's Aggression Could Start a New World War." Okay, and then we look at the image that is on the screen during this part of their little report, and it's about, I don't know, just spitballing here, taking a wild guess, 30 U.S. military bases that are like all hugging right up on China and in Chinese like waters. And yet the Chinese aggression is what we're looking at in this picture. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's almost a classic meme. Well, before I so rudely interrupted myself, I was just closing out this look at all this Chinese aggression bit, which I guess is a fine way to close out the episode. Or an even better way, on a positive note. Swedish workers are taking on Elon Musk in the form of Tesla. So Sweden has some fairly powerful labor unions. So I think they could give him a run for his money. I didn't really look too far into that one, but it seems like a good idea to me. I'm sure it's justified. If it's not, send us an email or a DM. I forget to say that on these episodes.
Might as well.
With that, general recommendations.
A Wiedersehen.
I've got.
Oh, go ahead.
You imitating me now?
Yeah.
I recommend a double feature of Coen Brothers movies that came up today somewhere online. They're kind of like second tier Coens in my opinion, but they're still very good because second tier Coen is still very good. Burn After Reading, I think it's kind of an underrated, but also, like I said, it's a little bit second tier compared to their normal God tier, S tier level stuff. But Burn After Reading is fun. Brad Pitt's character is hilarious. Just every time he comes on screen, I think it makes me laugh. He plays a good himbo, as it were, in that movie. And then chase that with an older throwback style Coen Brothers movie, which also doesn't get enough love, maybe for being a little bit second tier as well. The Hudsucker Proxy, starring Tim Robbins as the inventor of the hula hoop.
Famously known as the Cocksucker Prophecy.
Of course.
Yeah. Everyone knows that's what you really call it.
Those are good movies. And I'm a fan of the double feature of, if there's some sort of theme, directors, whatever. I think those would go together well. Anything to recommend, Tim?
I guess I would recommend getting a good night's rest. It's always important. And most people should do better at sleeping. Sleep hygiene is very important. So get some good
I
rest.
agree.
Don't don't be burning the midnight oil and all that. Just go to bed. If you're thinking about it, if you're contemplating it, if it crosses your mind, just go to bed. Anyways, that's my recommendation.
I've become kind of obsessive about
Are you kind of
getting
sleep-pilled?
good sleep. I'm sleep pilled.
I feel you.
Sometimes literally. Sometimes I pop a Xanny to really make sure I can fall asleep. A Xanny. I've never said that before in my life. What the fuck?
Zan. Yeah. No, it's good. You should say it. Say
Lil
it.
Xan.
R.I.P. to Little Xan. He's still alive, but also he should be dead.
I eat Lil Xan MP3s as a midnight snack. No, like I have the watch that tells me how my life is, and I get a good feeling when I get a good sleep score, and I get a bad feeling when I get a bad sleep score. Even though I know like these things aren't super accurate, but they can approximate. But this is all to say, I back up your recommendation.
Get some sleep.
Sleep. Go to sleep already. You should join our Discord.
You should.
It's in the show notes. You should look at the show notes. The show notes have a link to the actual show notes, if that makes any sense. The things that we're looking at when we go through the episode. And if anyone is ever possibly interested in that, links, pictures this week. What else? There's a website, heatdeathpod.com. I think that's as far as I want to go with any of that. Show notes, though. Please check out the show notes and the show artwork. I actually put some effort into those most of the time. Oh, and stay tuned for another bonus episode. I got tons of positive feedback on the last one, by which I mean one of my friends messaged me privately and said it was okay.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I had fun doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it because it's fun. And hopefully one day you'll have fun too, listener. And on that note, as always, and as someone always says, and as Javier Milei, the wig, the madman, always says, hold my chainsaw while I clone my dog and fuck my sister. Farewell, folks. Auf Wiedersehen.
Was
voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?